Hello and welcome to this VEXcode VR tutorial for the Smallpeice Trust Engineering at Home Challenge. Full details on entering the Engineering at Home Challenge can be found in the description below on the video. And the purpose of this video is to get you familiar with the VEXcode VR software and how to do some basic coding with it. So the first thing you need to do is in your browser on any device. It could be a PC or a Mac, a tablet, Chromebook, anything that you have, go to your browser and navigate to vr.vex.com. And that will take you to this screen, so the main VEXcode VR programming environment. So VEXcode VR is based on Scratch, and for any of you that have done Scratch programming, the toolbar or the toolbox will be quite familiar to you, and will have some fairly standard blocks in there. Now, the VEXcode VR software allows you to program a virtual robot. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to open the virtual environment. So if you click on the playground button in the ribbon at the top of the screen, and that will open the playground. Now, this is a three-dimensional environment where our robot is going to operate. Now, this expand button in the bottom left, if you've got enough screen space like I have, you can click the expand button to make the playground ever so slightly bigger. This drop down here selects the various different playgrounds that you can operate your robot in, and for our challenge we are using the disk mover. So if you go to disk mover to load the disk mover playground, and then we have some buttons down the side here. So let's have a look at these two. This is the camera view buttons, so we're on the top down view already, which is what this button does. We can also change to a three-dimensional view, and you can use your mouse to just drag and scroll around the robot there and take a look around your environment. So I'm going to flick back to the top view for a moment and look at the playground itself. So our robot is starting here in the bottom left, and these three coloured boxes, so we have a blue, green and a red coloured block, so a blue, red and a green coloured box. These are going to be our recycling bins for the purpose of this challenge, and these coloured discs placed around the playground are going to be our pieces of recycling. And we have different challenges, so look at the documentation for the challenge, getting progressively harder in sort of difficulty level, but the basic idea is going to be to use the robot to collect these pieces of recycling and bring them back to the recycling bins. Now, what I want to do in this video is show you how to just do some simple coding to get the robot doing the very basics, and then you can go away and play, create your own code, and hopefully complete the three challenges that we have set for you. So the first thing I want to do is just show you how we would make the robot drive forwards, collect this first piece of recycling, and bring it back to the blue recycling bin. So the robot, one of the things it has on it is an electromagnet, and that electromagnet can be used to pick up the pieces of recycling. So the first thing we need to do is drive forward to it. And you'll see in the toolbox on the left hand side here we have the drivetrain commands. And this is going to be one of the most useful blocks for you. Drive forward, and this drop down here can also be set to reverse, so to make the robot move forwards or backwards. And we have a parameter here that we can alter, which is how far the robot is going to travel in millimeters. Now, another useful hint is if we go back to the top view of the playground, you can see that the playground itself is divided up into a grid of 10 squares by 10 squares, and those squares are each 200 millimeters. So my robot's starting here, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 grid lines to the first piece of recycling to collect. So I can travel 2, 4, 6, 800 millimeters forwards to pick that one up. So if I drag this box in and connect it to my when started block, I'm already driving forward, so I'm going to leave that drop down as it is, and I'm going to amend this to 800 millimeters to drive forwards that far. So that will make my robot travel far enough forwards. If I go to the magnet part of the toolbox, you'll see I have this energized magnet command, and that can be set to either boost or drop. So boost is basically to power the magnet up and collect an object, and drop is to release it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this block in at the very start. So we're going to energize the magnet to boost here, and then we're going to drive forwards over this first object. So as we pass over it, the magnet is already energized and this will stick to it. So then I want to turn around and bring it back. So I'm going to go back to my drivetrain, and you can see here I have a turn right 4, and then I have a parameter here which is by default 90 degrees, but I can drop this down to either turn left or right, and again I can amend this parameter for how far I want to turn. So once I've collected my object, I'm going to want to turn around, and I want to do a 180 degree turn, so I'm facing the other way. And then I need to drive back to where I started, so again I'm going to have to drive forwards 800 millimeters again to get back to the start. So my robot's going to be back where it started here, but facing the other way. Now what I need to do is drop the piece of recycling. So again, back to my magnet commands. This time I want to energize the magnet to drop to release it. And finally, I'm just going to drive away in reverse a little bit so that we can see that the piece of recycling has been dropped. So I'm going to use this command again, but this time drop this box down so that it says reverse, and drive in reverse for, let's say, 400 millimeters. And now I need to run the program. So there's 2 different ways I can run the program. I can click this button in the playground, this play button here, or I can click the play button up at the top of the screen in the ribbon here. I'm going to use this one, and off goes the robot. If I turn to the 3-dimensional view, we'll see it's collected the recycling, driving back down, and released it. Now, if you want to reset the playground and run the code again, you just press this little reset button here, and it'll put all the objects back to where they started. So I'm just going to run that code one more time and talk you through another few things that are happening. So as I run it, you'll see here that the block that's being executed at any one time is flashing green or highlighted green as it's being executed, so you can see whereabouts in your program the currently executed piece of code or instruction is. So that's really helpful when you're debugging. The other thing you'll see here is we've got some data from some of the sensors. So we have the heading of the robot, so the direction that it's currently travelling in, or the rotation, how much it's turned. We've got some sensors called the eye sensors, which you may use in this challenge. So the front eye is looking towards the front of the robot, and the down eye is looking underneath the robot. And as I go forwards, it can detect, you see here what colour it's returning. It can detect the colour of an object, and the down eye detects the colour of an object below it. So again, as I send my robot off, as it goes over the blue disc, you'll see it's turned blue here because it's collected a blue disc. So that might be useful for you. That information might be useful to you in the challenges. If you want to use that data, you would go to Sensing, and you'll see here you've got eye sensing. So we could say if the down eye, for example, detects either red, green, or blue objects, then we could use that in our code to execute some different instructions. So once you're looking at the more complex challenges where you need to put different objects into different recycling bins, that might be really useful to you. The other thing that might be useful is coordinates. So you can see here at the moment, location is x of -800 and a y of -800. Now that's an XY location on the playground, and 0, 0 is right in the middle. So that's x0 and y0 right in the middle. And as we go along the x-axis, it goes up this way, so towards 1000 at the far side here, and -1000 this way. And with the y-axis, 1000 at the top here, and -1000 here. And you can use that information again to help your robot drive to a specific location. So for example, we could say that we want our robot to drive forwards until it gets to, let's say, the second one here. So if this is 0, 0 in the middle, that's going to be a y of 400 here. This line is at y of 400. So we could say drive forward and then wait until, I'm going to go to operators here. So I'm saying it's greater than 400, and in sensing I can go to location sensing and get position on my y-axis and say, well, when it's greater than 400, so I've got past this point, then I want to stop driving. So we're driving forwards now. You can see this Y location is getting closer and closer to 400, and as we get to 400 or greater than 400, so past that point, then the robot stops. And so you might want to use your X and Y locations to work out the positions of all of these objects, and that's going to help you navigate towards them. So I hope that gives you a basic overview of the toolbox and how to use it. So just have a look through and you'll see all the different commands that you can use. If you need help on how to use those, utilize the help command here. So by clicking on this little question mark, let's move this out the way so we can see, we can click on any box in the toolbox and get a bit of information about it and how to use it. So this would be especially useful with, for example, some of the sensing information. So it'll tell you a bit about the sensor and how it works and an example of how to use it. So that help command works on any block. You'll also need to know how to save your programs and load them. It's very important to continue to save your code so that you don't lose it. This box in the middle here is used to give your program a name. So we can call this, let's call this Smallpeice. And then click rename. So now my program has this name. If I want to say that hasn't saved it, it's just given it a name. If I want to save it, I need to go to File and Save to your device. And because this is running in a browser, what will happen is I'm using Chrome here as my browser. That will download the file. So with the name that I gave it, it'll download it to my my downloads folder. Where it downloads it to might vary depending on your device and your browser, but for Chrome that will end up in my downloads. And then if I want to open a program, it's standard process, so load from your device and then just navigate to the program in the browser and open it. So I hope that gives you a good overview of the VEXcode VR platform. Good luck with the challenges, and we look forward to receiving your entries.